Good morning.
Morning.
We're back. I'm Sandy and this is Toni, and we're back for the second part of the How Do I Install a Zipper in a Pouch. If you remember last week, we put the zipper in with the tabs on the top. This week, Toni's going to show you how to put the zipper in without the tabs on the top, and so that your bag opens really wide.
And I'm going to give a disclaimer right now. Normally, I do not do the sewing. Sandy usually does it. And that's because at home, I sew, no problems. In front of a camera, sometimes there's incidences. So I'm a disclaimer right now.
What's your disclaimer? Whatever happens,
It's not my fault.
There we go.
So first of all, we're going to talk about the pouches, and there isn't a pattern we use. You can make a pouch any size you want. I would suggest going a little bigger first, because the smaller the bag, the harder and more finicky it is. So most of the pieces I'm going to be working with are 8 by 10s. Mm-hmm. This first piece I'm going to show you here, and you see there's a couple of lines on it already. I'm going to show you how easy it is to do the quilting on your machine. Also, you see the little corners here? I've got those so I could show you how we mark them for boxing corners. Very easy. And then for removing the blue chalk that's there, you can either use your handy
and cut out the corner.
And cut out the corners. Or if you have a piece of foam or batting, you can take it and you can rub and it will come off. So on the machine here.
So what do you have in here that makes it puffy?
Oh, that's the fusible fleece that I made for the batting. And on the lining, I used SF 101 to give it a little more stability, and so there's no stretching when I'm doing my quilting. Fabric has its own amount of stretch, so this stabilizes it by fusing this. So the lining has SF 101, the front part of the bag has the batting. Now,
if you remember last week when we talked about the Pellon Shape Flex 101, it does shrink.
yes.
So when you put it on your fabric, give it a spray, let it absorb in, and you can see it shrink up a little bit. Then put your press cloth and press it on, and it should stick like magic. Mm-hmm. Okay, Toni is going to show us how to quilt.
Now you can either put a ruler down and make a mark, or what I like, painter's tape. If I'm only doing one line, I can lay that down, and then when I go to stitch, I'm going to come to the machine here. I just stitch along the blue tape. Then I can take that up and I don't have a mark. Now, most machines have this little hook foot. It's what a quilting guide,
seam guide.
a seam guide they call it. And in your machines, on the foot connection, there's a place here for you to be able to slide this little bar in. So it's just going to go right in here, and I've got all the measurements here, so I can make it as wide or as thin as I want. So I just put it where I want it, and then I tighten the little screw. So that will keep that in place. Now when I'm going to sew, all I have to do is line up that foot right on my stitching.
The guide bar, and you can push it all the way down so it goes in that groove.
You can.
Yep.
I sometimes have issues. Also, too, when I'm quilting, I like to increase my stitch length to 3.0. And I slowed the machine down because if it's a jackrabbit, I have issues. And you see how easy it is?
Back here.
You see how easy it is to do that? And I can just go one right after another. I can also take the bar and put it to the left so that if I want to do it that way, I can too. Now,
You can also use the bar when you're doing fancy stitches.
yeah, if you're in line, because I'm going to show you, just because you're doing quilting, it doesn't mean you have to do straight stitching. You have a lot of stitches on your machine, so you can just go nuts on practicing the stitches.
Oh, little kittens. That's cute.
What I like to do too is once I'm getting started and I get my quilting, I like to what I call seal my seams. That helps to keep the edges together, so when I start putting the pouch together, I don't have fabric that may roll over and make little tucks. So I like to seal it, and if I'm using foam, I like to seal the seams because it helps to compress the edging and makes it easier when you're doing your seams. Now if I'm preparing a zipper, I'm going to show you the zipper here.
Zippers come in all shapes and sizes. They come zipper by the yard, which is 3 yards in the package. This does not come with any zipper pulls. They come a number 3 zipper, which is this. This was a number 5. This is zipper pulls for the number 5. And to put your pulls on, it's really easy.
You want to borrow mine?
You have this little gadget called the zipper jig by Gypsy Quilter. You take your zipper pull. Here's the number 5 or 4.5. Here's the number 3. Put it on. I'll do it backwards so you can see. And then separate your tape. The front is facing me because the pull is facing me. So you'd slide those in on either side and pull down. And it's just that easy. The trick is to slide them in at an angle. When you buy this, it comes in a box. It has a lady with really long fingernails, and she's putting it straight down. It will not go on straight down. You must put them at an angle and pull.
Saves a lot of frustration if you go in at an angle.
Yep.
Now for the zippers, for the pouch, you just want a zipper that's longer than what your pouch is. And I tend to buy long zippers because I can cut them off. Sometimes I have enough left, I can put another zipper pull on and have a second small zipper. I save the end pieces like Sandie does because they make great little tabs. Here's part of a zipper.
Yeah, and if you just fold it and sew it in your side seam when you're sewing, there you have your tab.
So it makes it real easy. Now when I'm doing the zipper, I'm going to prepare the zipper. I like whether I have the metal piece on the end or not, because if I'm working with a number 5 on the tape, it's real easy to lose your pull off the end. So whether I'm working with a zipper that has the metal piece on it or if it's just the number 5, I tend to put a pin to help keep that together. It's just habit, then I don't have to worry about my zipper going off nuts. When you're doing the front part of the zipper, you can leave that metal piece on if you want, or you can cut it off. Because basically what you're going to do is I am folding this at a 90-degree angle. I'm folding at a 90-degree angle. Now I can put a pin there, I can put a clip there, but what I like to do is I will put a pin just to hold it, and then I like to stitch. And I stitch just to tack it so it isn't going anywhere. This end piece we'll cut off later once we've got it stitched in. So you can do it either with or without. That's just getting the zipper ready. So I have my zipper, and you see it's like a gazillion, it's one of the longest ones. And you see how bit long my pouch is.
What would you say? You leave about 4 inches to open wide?
Yeah, 3 to 4 inches. 4 inches is good. If I leave it long, I'm not cutting this off till the pouch is, I'm not cutting this part off until the pouch is together. So I can just leave that there until I'm ready to decide how much zipper do I want to leave on the end. So I've cut out my little, for boxing the corners. Makes it easier to cut these when you have it flat, not after things are sewn. And to put the zipper in, we're going to hide it, so you're going to want to measure. If I want my zipper to pull this way from left to right, I'm going to put 3/4 of an inch in. I'm going to put a pin, which is what I have. You can see that pin right there. So that's going to be my front. Now on the other end, I'm going to leave an inch. This is the part of the zipper that's sticking out from the end of the bag. And if you notice, this zipper is about an inch across, so that inch keeps the zipper from curling up. It gives it that space. Okay, so I have it marked. Now what I'm going to do is take my zipper, and I can use perfection tape to help hold it down. You want to show the perfection tape?
Stitch Perfection tape is our favorite friend. It is water soluble. So when you put a strip on, like, do you want it from pin to pin?
Yeah.
Okay, you put a strip on right next to the edge, pin to pin. Cut it off. You do not have to press this. It is just, stick it down with your finger. Take a pin or something and score one end to get the paper to come off.
This is where a clip won't do it for you, so you do occasionally have to have pins. Be careful though, because I have a tendency of, I don't know if you see my thumb, it's still healing from a pin. We've all been there.
Yep, there you go. Now you have your Stitch Perfection tape on. If it shows after you have everything all together, you just wet a Q-tip and run it along it, and it's gone.
So what I can do now with my zipper, I can open my zipper up or I can leave my zipper closed. But I'm going to start here at that 3/4 inch mark. And I'm going to place and press my zipper down. Okay? Press my zipper down. That's going to help hold it. Now what I could do is put, if I wanted, another piece of perfection tape.
Here. And your zipper is right side together with the outside of your bag. Now we'll put another piece of tape on the zipper.
It just helps to hold so you don't have to pin it. And you can also use clips. Those come in handy too. But what I can do now is,
Clips kind of get in my way sometimes. I'm left-handed, so most things zippers have to come right to left instead of left to right. Clips, when I'm sewing along, they just kind of get in the way of my hands. So I really like the tape for holding things in place. Got a little piece of paper right there. There you go.
so now what I can do is I can come in with my right sides together, and I can put my lining, and I'm going to line up my edges, and I'm just going to press this down.
Not with an iron, just finger press.
Just finger press. Hopefully get it straight. Now what I'll do is I would take it to the sewing machine, and what I would do is I'm going to stitch it down.
But wait, this is the magic of TV.
Ta-da!
We have one stitched.
Here again, you don't have to do anything fancy. You can just go nuts with the stitching. So what I did is I had it down and I stitched my 1/4 inch
And you back stitched.
and back stitched on the edges. When I got to this end that has the tail, what I did is I had to pull this in out of the seam. You see how that's not in the seam? And then I could just stitch right off the zipper.
So it's like veered off the edge. So you're not sewing on the zipper tape at all. She's got a good, there we
You
go.
get a good view.
Good graphic. There you go.
So now what I could do is I can do a little bit of pressing, and I was really skeptical of this little iron. It's a Tula pink iron, but let me tell you, I fell in love with it, and enough so that I bought one. I bought one. So, but giving things a little press as you go along will help later on for the pressing. So I have this pressed. Now what I would do is the same thing. I would put my zipper tape on, and this time I'm going to put my zipper tape on, and I can line up my edges here, and I would just press that. Then I can turn it over if I want to put the tape on. Oh, I'm right in my lap. Then I can do the same thing, and I can stitch. Now when I get to this end though, the same thing applies. I have to pull this, edge it down out of the way so I can stitch off, and that way it's going to leave it free. Okay? So I have my 2 pieces sewn on. Now it's the magic of television again. I might have to do some sewing. Oh,
You can see why Toni did all this just so she doesn't have to use that machine.
that's right. You see my spiders? This is for Halloween. This is one that is in my FOF. Check out the designs. It's really a lot of fun. So what I have here is opened it up, I put my sides together. Here I matched up my side seams, and I like to do the edge one first that has my zipper, because that way I'm concentrating, I get it out of the way, and then I'm not worried about this getting over and stuck in something else when I'm sewing. So I put my pouch sides together, and I just stitched. Now what I'm going to do,
What do you do right here?
I back stitch.
At your join?
Yeah?
So can you see that?
I don't know if you can see.
She's got the linings lined up and the front lined up.
I don't know if you can see.
There we go.
Actually perfect. Doesn't
Yeah.
always work that way.
Yes.
So now what I want to do is, here what I've done is I've added a little bit of the extra zipper tape because I'm going to use it as a little tab, show you how easy. One thing you want to make sure you do is you open your zipper up. Heaven help you if you stitch it together and then try to open it after it's stitched. It can be done, it's just
Well,
not
you
easy.
can still stick your hand up the bottom and do it, but when you close the
Yeah.
bottom, then
So what I'm
bets are
going to
off.
do is I'm going to match up my seams there. And I'm going to use a pin just right there at the seam, but you can use the clips work pretty well too. I have these clips in a gazillion sizes. One size does not fit all, and I use all of them. I love these clips, don't you?
I do too. Yep, use them all the time.
Okay, so I'm just going to match that up. Now comes the magic. I'm going to actually have to sew. So camera person, watch out.
Can we go back to this for one quick
Yeah.
minute? When you are sewing, we have this all together and you're ready to sew. Do you put your zipper foot on to sew this?
Oh, yes, I did. I used my zipper foot for that. Putting in a zipper helps to use a zipper foot. You all know what the zipper foot looks like, right? It's tiny. And one thing I found out with FAF is I can sew a seam with that thing on backwards.
But you don't want to.
You don't want to. It will not sew a zipper on, but it will do a straight seam for you. And how do I know that?
Because you tried it.
I did it.
Yep.
So what I'm going to do
And there, your zipper sewed in.
on the machine is I'm going to show you, I'm going to stitch down.
Any special foot this time?
I'm just using my regular foot, but you could use the 1/4 inch. I am using my marking on my machine.
3/8 seam? A 3/8 seam?
No, I'm doing a 1/4 inch.
It looks like 3/8 to me.
Didn't I? Yeah, it is. I lied. Okay. So come over just a little bit. So there. Huh.
That's so that when you go along the zipper, you're not leaving too big a hole, just the right size. Just like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It can be too tiny, too big, or just right. Right?
Yeah.
Toni is a person of very few words when she's sewing. You have to really work to get her attention. She just gets in the zone at that needle, and there's just no getting her attention unless you kind of whack her with a pool noodle or something, and I have
been
done
whacked-
that in the
I've
past.
been whacked more times than once at retreats. But who doesn't focus? Who doesn't get into the groove when you're sewing? Right? You know, come on.
Well, there's focus, and then there's somebody saying, Toni, Toni, Toni. And she's, Toni, oblivious.
I'm focused. I am very focused.
We
Okay.
have a good time together.
Yes. So, I've got that done. Now what I'm going to do is put my zipper out of the way. I'm going to use a couple of my clips, and I'm going to sew the bottom of my outside. Okay? I like to do the back stitching on these seams because it helps to secure it, especially with some of the tugging that we do. Especially if you're trying to make something fit. How many of us have done that? Okay, so I have my, here we go. So I have my two sides, okay, and I sewed my bottom. Now before I box those corners, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you, I'm going to sew the lining. Now with the lining, you want to leave a large enough opening that you can get your hand in there, so when you birth a bag, and it is really a word, I get a bad time about it, I'll show you how to birth a bag.
There's nothing gory involved.
Nothing gory involved. But when that little bag peeks its head through that area, it's just something special. It becomes a bag.
Stop, stop.
Oh, that's right.
You're leaving a hole, right?
I was going to.
Told you, she gets to her machine, it's pedal to the metal.
I still have enough. I'll just do the end.
Okay, do enough to box your corner.
Yeah. The other thing you can do is to help turn that in, you can either press or you can stitch down like that. And I'm going to do it to the other side too. You can see, here we go, how on this side I stitched down. I'm going to stitch down on the other side too. That's going to make it help turn that edge in. This thing likes going backwards.
It's because you have reverse on.
Well, I turned it off.
No, it's still on as long as it's lit up. There you go.
No, it's not. It's off.
Do you need this?
No.
Are you sure?
Well, we'll see.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna box a corner. To box the corner, we like to do the cutouts. We like to do the cutouts. Makes it easier to box a corner. So I'm gonna box my front ones first. My zipper's open. Oh, you're right. Where's the zipper? I gotta be able to get my hand in just a sec. Well, no, because I already stitched that, so.
How about we just do it like this?
Yeah.
Take the two sides apart, match up your seams.
And I just match up my seams.
Get up under here. There you go.
See, I'm just matching up those seams. And I offset, I nest my seams so that it helps to reduce bulk. And I'm going to stitch across there.
While you're stitching, I'm looking at comments. Thank you, Betsy. After you use the zipper jig a million times, you do get pretty fast at it. And hi, Margie. It's good to see you. If anyone has any questions, just put them in the comments. We'll be happy to answer.
Possibly.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, we will. We will. We will. Okay, so, okay, they're over here now. This is a test. So I see how I box that, so I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I have to watch the camera to see where they're looking at, so I know. So if I disappear with something, it's because I didn't want you to see a boo-boo.
Oh, we don't make boo-boos. We make happy accidents.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to box two more little corners, and then we're going to have a bag come through, and I'll show you how to put the tab on the end. So I'm going to, oh, here we go again. I'm going to box the corners. Hey, at least the machine, at least I haven't hurt anybody with it yet. Okay, so, yeah, so I'm going to match up my seams. I have my little clippy. That's just going to hold it. And I'm going to box the lining corners. And I have one more corner to box here. You see I've got one more, and then we're going to berth a bag, and I'll show you how to put the zipper pull on the end, the tab, not a zipper pull. Okay, it's still moving. What's going? What's it doing? How do you stop it?
Well, it's sewing. Oh, you got your foot caught underneath the cabinet.
The pedal's caught underneath minute here. So I told you, things sometimes just happen when I'm sewing. It doesn't happen to Sandie, it's me. Okay. Now, we're going to pull our bag through what I hope is a big enough hole.
This is going to be interesting.
I find it easier if I go to the end.
Scooch over here a little.
There we go. The end and poke through the very end rather than trying to start right next to the hole, because I can get a lot of the bulk. You see its little head peeping? See it peeping through? That bag wants to come to life. Yeah, it's going to work. I have been known, though, to go back and open the bottom up a little bit. I sometimes get a little carried away. Okay. But see, that came through pretty good. Now what I would do is, I've got a nice metal turning tool that I didn't bring, but you see how I'm using my fingers to poke out the box corners. And I'm going to do that with the front part too. There's my tail. Now, because I stitched in the seam there at the very end, when I pull this, it helps to pull that in, because the seam pulls it in, so it makes it easy if I was going to stitch this close. Okay? So we'll pretend it's stitched close. We're going to, there we go, pop it into the bag. And now what I would probably do is a little more pressing. Okay? Just to even out, it's easier to press, helps to keep it. If I wanted to stitch down along the end of the bag, like what I did here, and I used a decorative stitch, I don't know if you can see it very well. Yeah, there we go. You see I did a decorative stitch? It's hard to do a stitch along the zipper because having these ends when you're putting it all together.
Out here more.
So once it's all together, then I can press and I can go back onto the machine on my free arm, and I can slide it on the free arm and I can stitch around, or I can do a decorative stitch, and that way I can actually stitch all the way around, and that helps to secure it down. Now the last thing we're going to do, we wanted to, oh, you see my little tab here? Isn't that cute? I could have put a D-ring or something on it when I put the tab in, if you want to, or I can leave it. But now what we're going to do is, you see my little tail? Oops, where's my tail? Here we go. Nope. Here. That's the left-handed part. Come on. We're going to put a little tab on the end. Now on this, you see how long I left this? I can measure, and I can put however long I want on it. Okay? So I would measure off however long I'm going to do it. And I don't want my zipper pull down there. I want to leave my zipper pull up here. And I'm just going to whack off. Okay? Now I have more little tabs that I can save. Now to make your little zipper tab cover, this is a 2 by 3 inch piece. And what I did is I pressed in to the center. Nice thing about this iron too, it gets hot and it stays hot a long time. so I can press in, and then I'm going to press up the half, and then I'm going to have those two edges meet. Now here's where the zipper tape will come in handy because it helps to keep some of those pieces in. So when I'm laying the zipper, I'm basically going to encase. So what I would probably do is put my zipper tape.
You mean your Stitch Perfection tape?
Yes, what I call it.
Zipper tape.
Oh,
No wonder you're confusing me. How big a piece do you want?
Just enough to put one down each edge.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
And come here more. Come over here. There you go.
So I just want something that's going to help to hold. Do it with my thumbnail. This just helps to hold those side pieces in. I don't know if you can. That's not sticking very well.
Hit it with the iron. If it doesn't stick, hit it with the iron while the paper's still on it.
Yeah, otherwise you're going to iron
Gummy.
it to your iron. Okay, so we're going to take that paper off. Now the Stitch Perfection tape just helps to hold. I told you, at home I have no problem with it. It's only when it's on, I'm going to have you do that. It's only when it's on camera.
I'm just going to go here real quick.
Believe me, I do just fine at home.
For sure?
Yeah, for real. I made that bag.
Well, that is true. You did. And it's a very cute bag. I love those spiders, but I'm not buying a new machine just to get spiders.
Well, you have cats and you have all kinds
I
of
have cats,
animals.
I have
and-
elephants, I have hearts and flowers. There we go.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do, fold that down. I'm going to put that into the middle where my line is. I can fold that up, and then that zipper tape is going to, I'm doing this upside down and backwards.
You mean the water-soluble tape?
The water-soluble tape.
Okay.
Wait a minute, how did I do that? Okay.
You got it. You had it.
Yeah.
Keep going. Pull that up. Pull that down. Hold these
And then
in.
those fold in, and that's, the tape helps to hold it. Yeah, it's upside down and backwards. Only a lefty knows how to do it this way.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
Yes, you do.
Got it?
Yeah,
Glue sticks work too. If you have a glue stick.
I have glue sticks.
Yep.
And then I'm just going to pull that bottom part up and meet the edge.
And it ends up like this,
Yeah.
with it totally encased, and you just sew around it.
And that way you can make this as long or as short as you want. And any zipper you're putting in a purse or a bag, you can do the same process that way. The same process either with this zipper tail like this, or like Sandy showed last week with the tabs. You can, it's easy to do. Do not be afraid of zippers. They don't bite. The machine does, but zippers don't.
Machines
So-
don't bite either. It's operator error. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope we've taught you something, and you'll go home and make all sorts of zipper bags. And we are doing So Fun next month.
In
If you
September,
bring your
so come
bags and
see
show them at
us.
Show and Tell, we'd love to see them.
And use those patterns that are in your machine. You've got gorgeous stitch patterns. Don't be afraid to practice and use them.
Okay.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thanks for stopping by.
How long was that?